Of all the games I've played, one of the most special games to me was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's the thing that brought me into the wider world of video games. It made me want to expand my horizons and told me there was more to the industry than Mario, Sonic and Pokemon. But unfortunately, being cynical is more fun than optimism, so I'm gonna tear the ever-living shit out of it. So you start the game as Link, living in a society of forest children known as the Kokiri alongside your friend Saria. Each person in the village has a fairy that acts as a parent come teacher, and just like a teacher to a child, they are the most annoying thing you could possibly imagine. The fairy Link has called Navi is one of the most obnoxious pricks I have ever experienced. She will not stop telling you about your current story objective, which is especially odd seeing how this is an open world adventure game, and when she isn't doing that, she'll tell you the blatantly obvious, like, you can swipe your sword to kill this enemy. Gee, thanks Navi, and to think, I was going to use this 3-foot knife to spread jam on me toast! But one thing that Navi does tell us about, and the one time she'll say any useful information, is at the start of the game telling us to meet with a great Deku tree. He's the one supposed to look over the Kokiri and protect them, but senses a great evil approaching. However, due to his own problems, those of which being somewhat deep-rooted, he sends Link out of the forest with a spiritual stone. On your way out, he also runs into Saria again. Depressed that she's losing a friend, but knowing this day would eventually come, she graciously gives him an ocarina as a memento of their everlasting companionship. Kind of a shit present if you ask me. I mean, no offense, but I was just given an emerald the size of my fist, so you're gonna have to step up your game, missy. Fortunately, you need that ocarina that acts as a basic command function if you play the tunes correctly. So considering that Link is an 8-year-old child, these commands are either going to summon 3 blind mice, or, a more likely scenario, turn me into a deaf man. So now you can explore the world. First stop is the castle town where everyone is quietly calm to the fact that someone is wielding a sword in a public place. I mean, he's only a child, it's not like someone like that is going to go into an easily enraged temper tantrum, are they? And off to Hyrule Castle where we find Princess Zelda. Fortunately, the crime of trespassing is forgiven as she had a dream that a boy in green from the forest would be able to stop an evil from destroying the land. Yeah, because all dreams have to be prophecies, don't they? I had a dream once that I made love with a beautiful woman. I've met many pretty girls in my life, but not a single one of them wanted to have sex with me. Zelda also predicts that the Gerudo King Ganondorf is evil and must be stopped with his secret plans. No reason given. He just looks evil. Of course they would say that about the only dark-skinned person in the game. I imagine Link would question her, but the big problem is he's a silent protagonist. I'm sure they did this so you can impose yourself as the main character of the story, but this is a journey where you infiltrate a highly guarded castle, scale an active volcano, and get eaten by a whale. I'd have an easier time imposing myself as a supermodel, at least then it would make sense for me to collect jewelry and have a fairy follow me around. Well, actually, Link does have a voice, but he only uses it to make loud grunting sounds, and he does this every time he swings his sword or rolls on the ground. And I could ignore that if it wasn't for the fact that swinging your sword and rolling on the ground makes up about 50% of your adventure. I mean, I don't mind it, but considering I don't live alone and all the sounds are of grunting, it's not exactly something I'd want blasting out my speakers at a max volume. So from here you outset to find the other spiritual zones. First there's the Goron City, populated by friendly reminders why I should never eat spicy food, and there's Zora River, filled with beautiful and dignified creatures with their king, who I'm sure is the most majestic of them all. Holy Christ, he's a fat fucker! As interesting as all the people are, Link is prone to running away whenever another character tries to get close to him, supposedly symbolizing some kind of deeper emotional issue, but he does this for everyone except Princess Zelda. Yeah, screw your childhood friend, Princess Zelda is loaded! Of course, assuming that is in fact Princess Zelda. I mean, no offense to the creators of this game, it's just that this was produced for the Nintendo 64, a system that only had the graphical prowess of a beginner's guide to origami. But that's no issue to me. So what if the walls looked like they were painted with the inner lining of a smoker's trachea and Navi repeats herself more times than an amnesiac shopping list? It's through default we're supposed to love something. So if you excuse me, I'm gonna finish up Ocarina. After all, where else can I walk around wielding weapons and not get confronted for it? It's not like I can afford a plane ticket to America.